Ian, first things first, can we find out how the operation went last week? Was it a success?
Yeah, I think so. We'll find out more over the next 7 to 10 days, but early indications are it's fine, yeah.
What was the full extent of the problem that required surgery?
It's my right groin. It's been sore for about three and a half months. Maybe tried a few other ways, injections and basically rest, and then rehabbing with the physios. It wasn't getting much better, but the guy we used last week down south, we used him a couple of years ago from my left side, and it's a fairly minor operation, to be honest, but it's just removal of a ligament, which is now out, and hopefully that will take away the pain.
How long do you expect to be out for then?
Hopefully back in full training in 2.5 to 3 weeks. That's the ideal sort of situation. If it's longer than that, fair enough, but that's the time we're looking at.
How frustrating is it for you to experience another injury setback? And is this injury any way related to your back problems that you've had?
No, it's a complete separate issue. I mean, it's frustrating, but I'm sort of happy as well, because it had been neglected for three and a half months, as I say. Realistically, not being able to play the way I wanted to play. It got to the stage the last sort of 3 weeks where we could manage it enough to get through training and games if need be, but it wasn't 100%. I think anybody knows when they're carrying something, it can hinder you psychologically as well. So to get it sorted is more of a relief than anything else. So
obviously you've had quite a few injury knocks over the years. Is it a case of just sheer bloody-mindedness that gets you through the games, and is it just playing through the pain barrier?
Yeah, I think adrenaline gets you through the games, definitely. There's no question about that. That's most for every player, but on the flip side, you do feel things in games, and I'm on the other side of 30 now, so you know you are picking up little niggles here and there. But I'm fairly happy the way I feel apart from that. Once this sort of rehabs itself back and get back playing, I feel great.
Verdict on the cup draw then that took place earlier on in the week. We've got either Kilmarnock or Dundee at home in the 5th round. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a decent draw actually. I think it's a tough draw this year. There's a lot of not really any teams progressed from sort of 3rd division or even the junior side. So we're at home. I think that's all you can hope for. Dundee or Kilmarnock, both good sides. Tough game. I watched the Dundee Kilmarnock game and the first one, so the replay's going to be tough. But I think we've got to be fairly happy to be at home. It's a chance for a wee run, hopefully, and it could be a lot worse.
See, big weekend coming up. Dunfermline away, East End Park. Last time we travelled through to that part of Fife, you were sat in front of me and we shared the highs and the lows of what was a very unusual game. I felt we were obviously in an unassailable lead and suddenly we managed to throw that away. What lessons can we learn?
Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously played Dunfermline since at home where they beat us, which was disappointing, so we know that they can be dangerous. They're sitting bottom of the league, so we have to go there and hopefully take full advantage of their sort of frailties as well. They've got a big cup game coming up on the Wednesday or Tuesday night after our game as well, so we'll have one eye on that. Hopefully it's a chance for us to go there, get a good away run under our belts, and hopefully finally kick-start our season.
How frustrating is it to watch from the stands as well? Are you a bad spectator?
Sometimes, other times I'm not too bad. I mean, I think it was worse on Saturday there. I didn't have any. I could go to the games. I was just at hospital, so I listened to the sort of the radio, and it was at 3-1. I thought the game was done. 3-2. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. It's at that stage I think you just get away with the win. So it's frustrating, but you know, because I'm around the lads every day and see them training and the way they act, that they're trying their hardest. So the mistakes will happen, and I'm sure there'll be mistakes on Saturday from both sides.
I mean, it's easy for players to say, I'm a Hibs fan, but you genuinely are a Hibs fan, aren't you? If you're not involved in the team, and even if you're not part of the travelling party, you'll go through to watch the games.
I've been at other clubs where I've not been a fan of the club, so if I'm not playing for whatever reason on the Saturday, down south, I would have the Saturday afternoon off, but if I get the Saturday afternoon off here, I'll tend to go to the games, be at home or away. Because I say there's nothing worse than listening to the radio or watching the highlights on TV.
Apart from on Hibernian TV, I think the commentary service that we provide second to none.
So if I can go to the games, I try to get there. But I can see why. I mean, some places are a long way away, but Dunfermline's just over the bridge, so hopefully they'll take out good support with us on Saturday.
As we mentioned, big weekend also, your darts day, which a lot of people have been talking about. You managed to get a brilliant list of star players, some of the best in the game of darts that are going to be playing, plus Ivan Sproul and Graham Stack, so it evens itself out.
To be fair, they're both up for it, so I was happy to to accommodate them, and they're doing me a favour by playing as well. But as I say, it should be a good day. If we can get a good result on Saturday, I'm sure it'll help us towards the Sunday sort of afternoon as well. So as you say, big weekend. It starts on Saturday, the first and foremost, and hopefully we can win and roll it onto Sunday for a good day.
Are you going to get up at the hockey yourself?
I'll see how it
for a few hours.
Time, I think
Against Jackpot Lewis?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind giving them a shot. But these boys will be incredible. But I know Stacky and Ivan are getting a bit nervous now. They're committed, but the nerves are getting to them a wee bit.
Have they decided on any kind of dart stage names for themselves?
I'll leave that until Sunday. They have, but I'll leave that until Sunday.
And any sort of like warm-up music when they come out?
They have. They've all decided
all
stuff. So I think Ian Cameron's come along as well from Real Radio now and off, so I'm sure he'll take plenty of abuse.
Good. And then in terms of other testimonial events in the pipeline, what else is in store?
I think there's a golf day and a dinner. But I think we just they're
full details to follow.
So far, we just want to try and get this one out of the way. It's a lot of organisation for the guys that are doing it. So once we get out of the way, we'll get on to the next one.
Obviously, essentially, it's all about celebrating your career, but it's also about bringing the Hibernian family back together, isn't it? Because it's been a really challenging year for
it's been tough. There's no doubt. With the results on the park and things off the park as well, it's probably a good time now to. We've got Christmas and New Year out the way, a disappointing derby result, but the cup game last week, these little things can just kick on a little bit, turn seasons around. And, it's a good chance, it's a day of fun. It's, try and forget about the football if possible for an afternoon and just sort of celebrate, Hibs in general, really.